Here we are go to our question and answer session. Okay, everyone, I'm Dylan Joe, president of Lightbox Interactive, and we just got done crunching our asses off on Starhawk. Hawkstar J was cool enough to pull together what he's calling the top 14 questions that must be answered. So I have put them together on cards. Here you can see there's a question that's right from Facebook, and I've made some notes, and I wanted to spend some time with you guys today just going over these things. And I think the first thing I want to mention is that I hope everyone knows that when you release a game, especially a big international multiplayer game like Starhawk, it's never like, and here's the disc, it's done, enjoy, and then we walk away. By no means. I mean, we have a contract in place with Sony for support and ongoing updates, so you're going to see the same rapid-fire updates, the same rapid-fire balance that you saw during the beta when we're actually fielding Starhawk live around the world. So we know that it's going to be an ongoing tuning and balancing adjustment as all the different players from all the different nations kind of come to grips with the cool gameplay of Starhawk. And so it's going to be a very kind of organic process as we continue to balance multiplayer. With that ramble out of the way, let me go ahead and jump into some of these questions. This question has to do with the melee combat. Fans thought that in the beta, what we called the drama kill, the melee was slow. You guys are right. One of the particular drama kills was really slow, and it left you guys way vulnerable when you would get one of those insta-kills and the drama cams. We have remedied that. We've got a new drama kill for like the front and back kills. It's real quick, grabs the outcast by the throat real quick and just goes wham, right into the sternum and then throws him to the side. You actually see the ragdoll kind of tumble. It's really fast. Again, you're getting a one-hit kill, so there is going to be a little bit of penalty for the drama, and of course for the one-hit kill, but it's way faster than it was. And also you can wail away on R3 and get your swipes. You can actually do 2 swipes. That one is faster. Questions about air combat. This one was interesting because this got a lot of attention from our vocal pilot community, especially those players that came over from Warhawk. And this has to do with some players thinking that hawk-to-hawk combat felt a little bit weak because the weapons weren't doing as much damage to each other. And that was true and intentional, but we have made some changes in the final version of the game, and of course we'll continue to update it. But I wanted to give you a little bit of some backstory as to why we made some of those changes. We found that when you look at the game and all of the data, and we saw this in Warhawk and even, quite frankly, in some of the beta of Starhawk, we wanted to track life expectancy. How much time was a player able to stay in a particular mode? Were they able to stay alive in troop mode for 1 minute and 10 seconds in average in North America, or when you were in a Hawk, what was your lifespan when you're a mech? And we wanted to make sure that because we're trying to get as many players rolled into the Starhawk community, we wanted to make it a little bit more forgiving than Warhawk, because Warhawk, very dear to my heart, it was very brutal and very unforgiving. And the lifespan, the average lifespan in the air in Warhawk was way short. So what we did in the beta is we had all of the air weapons do markedly less damage than their counterparts did in Warhawk. Now, that said, while we were happy with the benefits that gave to the life expectancy, it kind of stretched out the dogfights a little bit more, it really was a bit too much. And Josh Sutphin, our lead game designer on Starhawk, has made a couple changes. Specifically, the one that really stood out was the homing missile. We always think of weapon damage to units in a scale of 100. So, you know, a troop is 100. It creates a good framework for debating weapons. So, for example, in the beta, I don't know the exact number, but I believe it was like 50 points of damage to 100 points of Hawk health. So you really needed 2 naked strikes with the homing missile to take a Hawk down. Of course, you can mix in machine gun play or swarm lasers, but we changed that. So now, instead of it being about 50 to the 100 health, it's a lot closer to 75 to the 100 health. And interesting to note for all the hardcore Warhawk fans that are watching this, you'll know that the 75 to 100 ratio is very, very close to what we had actually in Warhawk. Pilots especially are going to feel a lot better about that. We may have gone too far. Our life expectancies may get a little bit too short, and we may make some adjustments to the weapons. But that's one in particular that I think is going to really make you guys think that the air combat feels stronger. But like with everything, it's all just going to be about balance. Related to air combat, it's interesting, you know, we wanted to have more powerful homing missiles, but I think a lot of you guys mentioned that the Flak Cannon was too powerful. And I think you could argue, even in Warhawk, the lightning gun in the hands of someone who really knew how to use it was really powerful. But I can see where you guys came from, that the Flak gun was a bit too powerful. We have made a couple changes there, but I think we're going to have to see how it plays out. I think this is something that I mentioned many times on our dev blog during the beta, that the danger is if you make a number of parameter changes all at once, which of course we have because we're going to be releasing on May 8th. It's very difficult to draw the correlation between cause and effect. While we want to embetter some of the air combat with the improvements to the homing missile, we want to make sure that we let those lie a little bit before we go through and make any other changes to some of the other weapons. So I think, particularly to the Flak Cannon, it was a very powerful weapon. We really wanted to make sure that those pilots that were CQC, they were very close range pilots, had a great weapon. We may have gone a little bit too far with how powerful it was, but again, as you guys saw throughout the beta, the whole Starhawk architecture is based on a system we developed here at Lightbox Interactive called hotfixes. I mean, we could rapid fire content updates like that. And not just, you know, weapon tuning stuff. That's simple stuff. You know, we can move a base, we can, you know, make alterations, we can change gameplay logic. I mean, we can do all kinds of things. So we are not shy about making those changes based on either feedback or the gameplay data that we see. While I continue to ramble, I should mention that there are times, and I know there are times where we will disagree on stuff across the community. And in fact, there are times where, you know, I might think something, and I talk to Josh, who's our lead game designer. I'll say, you know what, this feels weird, or, you know, I just got ravaged in this game. So they can show me the very clear-cut, objective data that helps separate emotion from the real balance. And I think that's something that we're always going to try to do with Starhawk. You know, everyone has a bad game or a great game, you know, and if I get hate email or tweets or whatever about, oh, this is unbalanced and blah, 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 that might have been just a bad game. If we see a trend in the game data where we see something is clearly out of whack with the hundreds and thousands of players all over the planet, then we're going to start taking action. But we always take a very measured evaluation of it, so that we take the passionate feedback that we get from our fan base and we do try to pair it with our data.
PlayStation